Have you ever felt like you're just going through the motions? Stuck in a life that isn't truly yours? That's exactly where Aditya found himself. He was a successful architect, living in a bustling city, with a life that looked perfect on paper. He had the high-paying job, the fancy apartment, the respect of his peers, everything society told him he should want. But deep down, something felt off. A quiet emptiness echoed in the spaces between his perfectly designed buildings. Every morning, Aditya would wake up to the sound of city traffic, his mind already racing with deadlines and client meetings. He'd spend his days drafting blueprints for structures that would touch the sky, yet he felt more grounded and trapped than ever. The passion he once had for architecture had faded, replaced by a monotonous routine. He was creating spaces for others to live and dream in, but he had forgotten how to build a life for himself. He felt like a character in a story written by someone else. One evening, while working late on a project, he stumbled upon an old travel blog he used to write in college. It was filled with vibrant photos and stories of backpacking through Southeast Asia, of nights spent under starry skies, and conversations with strangers who became friends. Reading his own words, he felt a spark he hadn't felt in years. It was a painful reminder of the adventurous, curious person he used to be. Who was this person staring back at him from the screen? He didn't recognize the weary, serious man his reflection showed. That night, Aditya couldn't sleep. The contrast between his past self and his present reality was too stark to ignore. The next day, he did something that seemed crazy to everyone around him. He walked into his boss's office and resigned. His colleagues were shocked. His family was concerned. They couldn't understand why he would throw away a perfect life. But Aditya knew this wasn't an act of destruction. It was an act of reclamation. He was taking back the pen to write his own story. He didn't have a grand plan. He just had a backpack, a one-way ticket, and a burning desire to reconnect with the world and with himself. He decided to revisit the places from his old blog, but this time, not just as a tourist. He wanted to learn, to contribute. His first stop was a small, remote village in the mountains of Nepal that had been hit hard by an earthquake years ago. The community was still struggling to rebuild. Armed with his architectural knowledge, Aditya started helping them. But he wasn't designing skyscrapers. He was working with local materials and traditional techniques to help build earthquake-resistant homes and a small community school. He worked alongside the villagers, sharing meals, stories, and laughter. He learned to speak their language, not just with words, but with actions. For the first time in a long time, he felt his work had a real, tangible purpose. He wasn't just building structures, he was building hope. Word of his work spread. Other communities reached out, and Aditya's journey took him from the mountains of Nepal to the coastal villages of the Philippines, and then to rural communities in Latin America. He founded a small non-profit, Roofs and Roots, dedicated to sustainable community building. He taught local builders, learned from their ancient wisdom, and created a network of volunteers who shared his vision. He was still an architect, but his definition of success had completely changed. Success wasn't the height of his buildings, but the strength of the communities he helped empower. It wasn't the size of his paycheck, but the number of lives he touched. He found a deeper sense of fulfillment than any corporate job could ever offer. Aditya's story isn't just about quitting a job to travel the world. It's about redefining success and finding your purpose, even if it means taking the scariest leap of your life. It is a reminder that it is never too late to pick up the pen and become the author of your own story. What will your next chapter be? Thanks for watching. If this story inspired you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that makes you think. See you in the next one.